So we're told that approximately 30% of Jamaica's fire hydrants are in need of repairing. Here to clear the air, Acting Commissioner or Acting Assistant Commissioner at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Emilio Ebanks. Morning, Emilio. Great to see you.
Good morning.
Sir.
I'm reading here that 13,529 are working.
Right.
And 3,635 are not.
Yes.
What would be some of the reasons those are not working?
All right. When we're doing a survey, if water is not in the line in that particular area, we have to put those that there's no water in the line in the not working bracket because of the fact that we are, the premier emergency response agency on the island, we rather err on the side of caution. So it might very well be that out of that 3,000 something that is listed as not
water
working,
you don't have.
It's just that water wasn't in the line at the time the survey was being done. So you might find that that figure might not, on face value be true.
But obviously some of them are not working.
Obviously,
the water
some of them
comes from
aren't.
NWC.
Yes, the
Why
water
would
comes from
water
the-
not be in the line?
For a number of reasons, I really can't say, what would have occurred at the period we're doing the survey to...
You pay for the water, by the way?
No, we don't.
You don't? No. St. Thomas,
What is
sorry.
a line? I don't know what a line is. I'm lost.
The
A line-
regular main
The regular
that we
main,
get
that way
water.
the water comes
Okay,
from.
okay.
The service main.
What's
Okay.
so specific about St. Thomas? It seems like in St. Thomas, most of them are, or a lot of them are not working in
Yes.
St. Thomas.
A lot of it has to do with when we, at the end of the year, around this time of the year, normally we send out to all the parishes to send us the most critical fire hydrants. Critical will be rated according to the risk that is involved. So if we look at New Kingston, downtown Kingston, halfway through those areas, almost all of the fire hydrants will be working because, again, of the risk involved. When we go into the rural areas and then go into the more rural and most rural areas, you'll find that, unfortunately, if the resources can't stretch to that point, some of these hydrants will not work. And bear in mind, again, some of these areas have frequent water lockoffs. So again, it depends on what was happening at the time the survey was being done. So St. Thomas might very well have been having some water problems while the survey was being done. I'm not saying that's the situation because without that kind of data to say whether or not water was in the line at the time, we would have to put them in that category of not working.
And when we say repair, Emilio, what does repair mean? To repair it.
All right. Repairing of a fire hydrant can mean the entire hydrant, which is from the main. You would have to take out the hydrant, that piece of the hydrant that you see there, which is called the barrel. That is only almost the facade.
Okay.
Everything else happens underground.
Okay.
So you have what we call a distant piece, a duck foot bend, the valve that you use to turn it on. All of those things are underground. Those are really the pieces that cost money. Those are the pieces that take some time to repair.
So let me ask you, who's in charge of that? Is that local government that would be in charge of that? I mean, where do we look at ministerial portfolio? Who's in charge of that and what kind of money are we looking at? Because we're talking about fixing. You need it to be fixed, right?
Yes.
To make to be more effective
Right.
in case of a fire or emergency response. What kind of money we're looking at to fix how many? How many we're looking? The 3,000?
Well,
3,000 and something.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
reading here that just over 14 million was allocated for the repair of 250.
Out of the
fire
3,000
hydrants.
something?
Right, all right.
And the maintenance of 600.
Right. Repairing of a fire hydrant, if you look at a full hydrant, which includes the barrel and all the pieces involved, to purchase one of those is somewhere over 100, maybe 100, up to $150,000
Okay.
for the entire thing.
Jamaican?
Yes, Jamaican. Okay. So when you go out there now, of course you're going to need a backhoe for excavation, and the team will get there. Normally the hydrant maintenance team, when they're doing full repairs, especially in rural Jamaica, they leave out from very early in the morning. And in plain Jamaican language, I want to big them up. They're doing an exceptional job. 10 years ago, we had the reverse of what we have now. We had about less than 30% working and over 70% not working.
Whoa.
So when they go out there, if the excavation is done from the day before, and again, excavation will include a third party because we don't have the backhoes and the equipment to do that kind of thing. Once it's excavated and the National Water Commission does what we call teeing off of the line, which is putting a device on the line that will give us access to the water main.
Okay.
The team goes in place, they put the valves in place, and once they put the valve and they lock that, then they can put the other pieces in place and you have a full hydrant in.
How much does what we're talking about, hamper firefighting?
What we try to do is we have to work strategic. So we ensure that out of that 3,000 something that you see there, most of those are in areas that we very rarely have fires.
Okay.
So at the start of the year, like I said, or at the end of the year, sorry, the divisional heads will send in the most critical, and we repair those.
I call the fire station. There's a fire in Halfway Tree, for want of a better area. Do you know before you come that that hydrant is working or not working?
Yes.
You know before you get there?
Yes.
If it's not working, and it's close to, obviously, where you would get the water from, what happens? What do you do?
You know, you have an idea which are the hydrants that are working in any particular area. And a lot of this has to do with knowing your fire ground. So, for example, a football coach, let's use Neville in this case, you would know if something should happen to one of your strikers, which person would be next on the bench.
Right.
In that same way, we as firefighters, we know if this hydrant is not working, if the flow rate in this one is not good, this is the next best one.
So when you hear stories on the news about the truck never have no water, what do you say to the people about that?
I'm
How are they
glad
to
you
respond?
raised that. Let me address that in a very simple and practical
Yeah,
way.
man.
Some time ago, there was a fire at a tenement yard. I arrived on the scene, and I remember this particular lady saying, she was bawling and begging, don't let the fire get to her apartment. We extinguished the fire in the apartment that was on fire. Her place was not touched. TVJ arrived on the scene. She was the first one in front of the camera, tearing out her hair, bawling, screaming that she lost everything and truck never come with water. I stepped in unapologetically and said, no, your apartment that. Is your apartment, you said, and and she said right there in front of the camera, so me no want to come on TV too.
Oh my God.
So you find that a lot of the times, misunderstanding has a lot to do with it. Persons don't understand that we don't have an infinite supply of water in the tanks. It depends on the nature of the fire, the type of the fire, that the amount of water that we'll have to pump per minute to extinguish
we have
it.
to go. So we are good.
We are good, yes, to be honest.
We
with you,
can be better.
Yeah.
We can be better.
But we are good.
And final word I have to ask you, because it is Christmas and I hear that you all have put out a statement about Christmas lights and fires. Last statement to the people and then we go to a break.
Last statement to the people, have a fire-safe Christmas, a prosperous 2018. Make sure that you just take the necessary precautions. At this time of the year, we normally have an increase in residential fires, so be careful.
Y'all be safe also.
Thank you.
And have a great holiday. Acting Assistant Commissioner at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Mr. Emilio Ebanks.
But don't tell you, say we're going to take a break.